Hey, welcome to Tim's Workshop. Hey, gonna go over how to bed your brakes, your new brake disc and rotors. Okay, just my video just did for you was changing the front rotors and disc on a 2010 Hyundai Elantra, and after I changed the brakes, I took it out and bedded the brakes in. Okay, so I wanted to make a separate video for that. First thing you do after you change your disc and pads, your disc, brakes, and your rotors, is after you get done, you get in the car and pump your brakes up at the calipers once you have them apart like that, and then put your new disc pads on. You have a gap in there, so you want to close that gap up and get those brakes up where they need to be. So you got to pump your brakes up until they're good to go, and then once that's good, then you're ready to drive and start bedding your brakes in. So I found this on the internet. It's called bedding in your brake rotors. Okay, and I highlighted in red some things, the processes on doing this, but there's a lot more information here, so if you want to pull it up on the internet and read it yourself, go for it. Okay, I recommend you do that. So I'll just go over the highlights here. First off, you want to find a road that you can get your vehicle up to 60 miles an hour, but without traffic as much as possible, and I'll explain here why that is important. Okay, so when you perform your first part of this bedding process, you will be performing 3 to 4 medium stops from 45 miles an hour to a complete stop. Okay, you do that 3 to 4 times. Okay, and then that gets your the temperature up on the rotors, on the brake rotors. Okay. And then, after that, you go make 8 to 10 aggressive stops from 60 miles an hour down to 15 miles an hour. But don't stop. Just get it to 15 and then accelerate back up to 60 and aggressively stop again. So you do that a cycle of 8 to 10 times. And the reason you're doing that is to get the brake disc and the rotors all heated up. Right. Then once they're heated up, without coming to a complete stop, right, you drive your car for 5 to 10 minutes without hitting the brakes. And what that'll do is let those brake disc and calipers cool down, and that's important because at that point these everything is heated up and seated in to each other. But once that's seated into each other, you want that cooling process to happen. Because if you come to a stop with those rotors and those discs hot from doing those 8 to 10 cycles, your pads are going to melt into that configuration. You don't want that. You want them cool and set, so they're not going to nest in any other way than even. Okay, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so and then once it cools down, you're good to go. But what you need to do is if you have a bigger vehicle like a truck or SUV with large calipers, large brakes, large rotors, you need to do that process twice. Okay, so once it goes through its cooling process, you start the thing all over again. You do your 3 to 4 medium stops at 45 miles an hour. Okay, complete stops, and that gets it heating up a little bit. Then you go from the 8 to 10 aggressive stops, which will heat it up even more. down to 15 miles an hour, but don't stop on that one. Okay, and then repeat that from 15 miles an hour to 60, back to 15. And aggressive doesn't mean hit the brakes and light them up. No, that means aggressive, but don't lock up your brakes and come to a skidding halt. No, that isn't what they mean by aggressive. Aggressive is more aggressive than just a regular stop that you do. Okay, so do it twice if you have the bigger calipers and bigger rotors on, like a truck, and yeah, some of these SUVs are big too, you know. So that kind of equipment with disc brakes and rotors, you need to do that. Okay, so this is on the internet, so pull it up, read all of it yourself. It's called bedding in brake rotors. That's what it's called. Okay, and here's a reason why you should pay attention to doing that. Is because see how this is thinner here and thicker here, so it's uneven. It didn't bed in right. Yeah. No, it didn't bed in right at all. Yeah. See how thin that is down by my finger on this pad? But then it's thick on the other one that's meeting up to it. And then on the end of this pad at the top, it's thin up here. And then on this end, it's thick over here. So it's completely crooked. And that's probably why this thing was pulsating so bad. That's why I ended up changing all this. And I went to better brake pads, as you saw in the prior video, and better rotors as well. So I suggest you do that. Okay? So you like the video, please subscribe, leave comments, hit the notification bell, and give me a like. All right? See you next time.